I think it's the other way around. It's just because I am so introvert and so shy, and I always had this inability to speak and communicate, is why I'm an actor.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, I grew up in a big family. I have, sorry, I have four sisters, and I was very pampered and protected as a child. So when I used to step out, I didn't know how to deal with people. So I could feel it, you know, everybody is like judging me and scrutinizing me. And so I was like, okay, let me not say anything. Let me just get into studies. I didn't realize till the time I was actually performing for Shamak in a stage show as a dancer. And suddenly I was on stage and I could feel the lights hitting my face. I could see all the strangers looking at me. And the music started, and it was something else. I was actually communicating without even saying a word. And I could see people getting affected by it. So that was quite magical. That was like, okay, this is something that I think I always wanted to do. And that's when everything started. I took a big U-turn from that. I decided, okay, this is something that I can or might do for the rest of my life. And things happened. Yeah, I was very spoiled. There was this other thing because all my sisters were very academically very sound. And growing up in a family, in such a big family, money was always a very important factor in our life. So the only way through was to do something, that can actually financially secure us. So study was the only way out, and that's how I got into. For the first 20, say 18, 19 years of my life, I was just very introvert, very shy, and completely into studies. But things happened when I started performing for Shamak. And then Shamak told me once that, you know what, you're not one of my finest dancers, but but I still keep you on the first line because there is something. And I think that something was that wanting to communicate that was there for the first 18, 19 years of my life. And so he was like, you know what, you should try theater because you got something, you need to explore it. So I went to Barry John in Delhi. Well, they are completely diametrically two opposite answers for the first and the second question. I'll tell you very honestly why I decided to actually go to Shamak. So I got into this college feeling very good about myself. I'm like, oh, this is it. I've arrived. And suddenly I found that, okay, it's a very wonderful college, but there are so many guys. You know, it's a dangerous amount. And there are no girls. So I felt cheated. And a couple of my friends also felt cheated. So we were like, okay, what are we supposed to do now? So we were like, okay, we can do one thing. We can hang around all these women colleges in Delhi University. So what we used to do was, we used to go in front of Miranda House, Lady Shri Ram, and Jesus and Mary College. And we used to buy the entire basket of Moongvali. We used to sit there in the best clothes possible, and we used to sell it to, you know, hot-looking girls. So that was
Sell it? I thought you were going to eat.
Sell it. So that was the first step. And the second step was somebody told me that, you know, you have this inclination for dancing, you like dancing. Why don't you join a dancing institute? Because I have heard that there are lots of hot girls coming there. So I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea. So I went there. So this was the reason why I went there. I'll be very extremely honest. Very quickly, I realized that, okay, once I was on stage, I was completely different human being, you know. I wanted to be there. And when I started acting, this was, I think, the second year of my college. What I did was I bought all the possible books that were, you know, kind of available on for filmmaking and acting. I read all of them. And I realized that somebody said that, okay, you can't, you know, actually make somebody an actor, but you can train an actor. So I was like, what if I'm not an actor? So I went to Barry John, and I was there for 3-4 months when we got a certificate, and I got a B grade, and everybody else got C. So that's when I got to realize, okay, this is something that I really can do. Also because, I could hide behind all these interesting characters. I could say things that I really want to say, but at the same time I can tell people that, oh, this is not
It's
me.
not me.
This is the character. I was like, okay, this is something that I really want to do. Even if I don't get paid for it, I'll still do it.
And that's how you decided that you were going to become an actor. And
I was actually with Shamak
Yeah.
and with Barry. So for
you had already joined Barry by
So
then.
for 2.5 years, I was doing theatre with Barry. Nobody knew because I was staying in a hostel.
Hostel.
So I used to dance behind all the possible stars that that are still there in all the Filmfare Awards and everywhere, and but nobody knew. I very silently used to nurse this dream.
How did
I think the most important thing is whether you can convince yourself that you can do it or not. We generally have an idea of our potential, and because of that, we take certain actions. Because of that, we get some result, and that reinforces the belief that, okay, that was the correct idea of our potential. So I use this, fundamental law of success every time I was supposed to make a very important decision in my life. Even dropping out of my college was a big decision. I came here, I was like, okay, even if I crack a tough examination like All India Engineering and Entrance Exam, I'm still supposed to invest 4 years to be an engineer. How can I be an actor like this? So I need to invest time to actually know the intricacies of acting. So I was with Barry in Delhi, and then I came here. I didn't give any auditions. I was with Nadira Babbar doing theatre. And it was one of the shows, I still remember it, there was this monologue, and Balaji people were there, and they were like, okay, would you want to do a TV show? It's a prime time and this and that. And I was like, yes. I've never acted in front of a camera, so it'll be a good experience, and I started with that.